Hello Internet, Blink here. We are in Voidtrain, and today I'm going to be talking about getting you started with some basic building of workstations, including the research table, the Workbench I, the Smelter I, and the Lab I. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to build a research table. That's going to help us unlock all the further technology and blueprints that we'll need for Voidtrain. So first thing I'm going to do is you want to get familiar with your build menu. So I'm going to press B to bring up the build menu. It opens up this little journal here, and you'll notice that it shows me all of the buildings that I have unlocked at the moment. So if I hover over this is the research table. You notice that it takes 4 scrap and 4 wood. Now I do have all of those currently in my inventory, but let me show you how to get those when you're out in the void. So we're going to go ahead and release the brake here. And I see some debris floating out up here. So we are going to swim over here. Swim? Float? We're going to swim over here. We're going to grab this piece of scrap. And then, conveniently, there's also a piece of wood here for us. So we're going to grab that as well. And that's going to go right into our inventory. We got some scrap metal here. We got some wood here. So I'm going to bring up my build menu again here. Again, by pressing B. And I'm going to go over to the research table here. I'm going to click on that research table. And you notice that it brings up this little hologram here. So you notice that it'll turn red when it is obstructed by something. Like here, it's obstructed by the brake. And if it turns green, then you know it is okay to place that item on your trolley. So I'm going to go ahead and put it up here at the very front of my train. I'm going to use this space here. There we go, turns green. And I just left click to place it down. And now we have our research table. Okay, so now that we have built our research table, let's talk about what it can do for us. So this is how you're going to unlock all of the blueprints for building stations, for upgrading your gear, for building gear, for upgrading your water consumption, and lots of other treats along the way. So if I interact with this, we are going to go ahead and press that plus sign, and you'll see that we are currently at phase 1 of our technology tree. So here we have the ability to research the smelter as well as container 1. So let's talk about the smelter here. Smelter, we only need 4 scrap. Luckily we have that in our inventory. So I'm going to go ahead and click this button. You'll see now it has a little countdown timer for the researching time. And now we have unlocked the ability to make a smelter. So I'm going to go into my build menu again by pressing B. And you notice now we have a new item here. It is the smelter. And it requires 4 scrap. So let's go ahead and put that down. Again, remember the idea about holograms. If it's red, it can't be placed there. If it's green, it can. Now, if you want to change direction of this, if you press R, you can rotate the direction of any of the workstations here. So I'm going to rotate it like that, and I'm going to put it over here in the corner. Now, I currently don't have enough materials in my inventory, so when I put this down over here, you'll notice that it is still a blue hologram, and you can see underneath it says in red, scrap metal 0 of 4. So we're going to have to hop back into the void and grab some more scrap, and then we're going to go ahead and build this. Alright, I have been swimming out in the void, and I now have more scrap for us here to build this smelter. So all I need to do, if it's in your inventory, is just go ahead and press use on the smelter, and those resources will be pulled from your inventory here and go automatically into it to build. So now let's talk about how to use the smelter. Again, you just need to press use on it. It is E by default. And then here, you're going to go into the recipe. We have 2 options here. We can either create iron bar or we can create copper. I'm going to go ahead and create some iron bars here. So I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to go over into the fuel. There are several things in this game that can work as fuel. You see we've got wood and fat are probably your 2 most common ones here in the early game. Now if I click on wood here, you notice that I can increase the amount of wood that I put in here. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that up. It'll stack here. You could do the same thing for iron. You could increase the count of the Q here. I only have 2 pieces of scrap there. Although if I go in and I click copper, you notice that I have 2 pieces of scrap and I have 3 chemical. So I could create more copper here. For now, we're going to go ahead and create iron though. And then you're going to go ahead and press this create button. And if I exit out of this, you'll see the smelter fire up. You'll see a countdown timer here. And then when that is done, you'll see a fully formed bar of iron. You can go ahead and pick that up. And now it appears in our inventory as a full iron bar. Okay, so now that we have the research table and we have our smelter 1, let's go ahead and make the next workstation that you're going to need, and that is going to be our workbench 1. So this requires 3 iron bars and 3 wood. I do have those in my inventory here. Right, we got iron bar here, we got wood here, we're good to go. So let's go ahead and research that. Little countdown timer. And now we should see it in our build menu. Here we have Workbench 1. So currently we don't have enough resources, but we can put down a blueprint. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this. And I like putting it up here, tucked in the front here. In the beginning, your trolley is going to be very cramped, but don't worry, we can fix that later. So let's go ahead and rotate this so it's facing forward, because I like the look of it. And we're going to place this down right here. Okay, now that we have the research table, the smelter 1, and the workbench 1, let's talk about the 4th station that we can unlock. So if we go over here to our trusty research table and we click the plus sign, we are now currently in phase 3 of our technology. And over here we have a lab 1. So that's going to be our next thing to unlock. We're going to need 2 bolts, 2 wood, and 2 copper wire. So those things can be made over in our workbench 1 that we just made. So if we go into its menu, here we have bolts, and over here we have copper wire. So those are going to be the 2 things that we're going to need here. I'm going to go ahead and smelt up some copper and make these components, and I'll get back to you. Okay, I just about have all of the resources that I need. I'm going to grab these bolts off of the workbench. We still need to make our copper wire, but we're going to do that here in the workbench. The one nice thing about the workbench is that it does not require fuel. So I can go ahead and queue up 2 of these copper wire here, press the create button, and I don't have to add fuel. Unlike the smelter, or in the future, the lab, which we're about to make, will also require fuel. So let me grab these copper here. And now I should have all the things in my inventory that I need. I've got the copper wire, I've got the 2 bolts, and I've got plenty of wood. So I'm going to go ahead and unlock the lab here in the research table. Let that countdown timer tick down. And now it should show up in our building menu. Again, remember you press B to open the building menu. And here is our new lab 1. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down over here by our smelter, right in this little square here. Again, I don't quite have all the resources on me right now, so it is still that blue hologram. So I'm going to go farm those up and build lab 1, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, we have now completed building our lab 1 here. If we access its menu, its inventory, and go to recipe, currently we can only create one thing, unstable chemical. But if we go back to our research table, you'll notice that there are a couple new things that we can research here. Some of which use the lab, some of which use the workbench. So I'm going to go ahead and unlock chemical components, which should unlock both the ability to make grease and resin, both over in the lab. So let's go ahead and unlock this. Now, if we try to unlock the next one, you notice that there is a material over there that we don't know how to make yet, or we previously didn't know how to make. Now, that icon over there that you see on the right, so we've got the iron bar, we just need 1 of those, and we need 1 of this other component here. So if we go back to our lab 1 here, we'll notice that we have now unlocked a few more things. Before we just had unstable chemical, but now we have unlocked resin, and this little icon, which we saw over in the research table, which is grease. So we're going to need 1 of those. I'm going to queue up that. Now, again, the lab does also require fuel, so I'm going to go ahead and put some wood in here and press the create button. We'll wait a few seconds for that to finish, and now we have some grease. I'm going to go ahead and pick that up. We see it's here now in our inventory. We can go back over to our research table here, and we can unlock basic components 2 to complete phase 3. Now that will unlock a few more things over here in our workbench, including forcers that we saw over in that icon. And that is the basics of the lab 1. Okay, so there is one more level 1 workstation that we need to talk about. So far we have built the research table. That was the very first thing we made, and that allowed us to make the smelter over here. And then we made the Workbench 1 and then the Lab 1. So currently we are in phase 5 of our research table, and here you notice we have Kitchen 1. So that's going to be the next thing that we're going to make. It's also going to allow us to make better food and water sources. So let's go ahead and research that now. So if I go back into my build menu here, you now see that we have a kitchen. Again, we currently don't have enough resources, but we can get those. So we're going to go put this guy over here. I'm going to rotate it a little bit here, like so. So now that we have built the kitchen over here, we can go inside and we have the ability to craft some better food and water options. So we have some food options in here, some grilled organics and some cooked steak, as well as some water sources here. So better water sources with the water flask or the purified water. Now definitely check out my other video on food and water resources to give you a little bit more info about the stats on those. Well gang, that is a little bit about all of the level 1 workstations. We started off with the research table, and that's the key to unlocking all of the blueprints and technology. So research table first, which allowed us to unlock the smelter. We then unlocked the Workbench 1, the lab 1, and then eventually the kitchen 1. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you, if you did, you leave a like and a subscribe to my channel, and I hope you look forward to more Voidtrain videos by Blink Blink Games.